Hello and welcome to the Last Word on Spurs. We hope you're keeping very, very safe and well. Thank you so much for joining us for instant reaction to Spurs going out of the Carabao Cup third round. Honestly, quite honestly, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I am one of the most positive, optimistic Spurs fans you're ever likely to see. But I'm at breaking point right now. I've got to be honest with you. I've been patient. I said this to a lot of the guys before we started tonight's show that for me, the nature of Spurs and the cups is that where there's four trophies that Spurs can potentially win, and to be honest, there's only two really winnable ones, and even those that are winnable, you still have to probably battle Liverpool, City, Chelsea in a final. But tonight gave us the opportunity to potentially get to a cup final, and wow, I just don't know what I've just witnessed over the course of 94 and a bit minutes. And it's something we've been saying far, far too often here on this Last One on Spurs. And look, I'm just going to be honest and tell you how I feel tonight. I'm not going to hold back at all. Joining me for this show, back alongside us here, three great returning guests to Last One on Spurs. Oh, Mr. McQueen, God, give us some therapy tonight, mate. What have we just watched over the course of that 94 and a bit minutes? What can we say?
I mean, we have got some positive, genuine fans on the show, as you know, but it's difficult. There's not much to be positive about on that. I mean, I said it on the group earlier. There's nothing to savour from that. I mean, it was utter shambolic from start to finish. I'm not talking about everything else. I'm not talking about the wider picture here. I'm talking about tonight's match, and it was a shambles, absolute shambles. The defending was awful. The midfield wasn't in control. The Nottingham Forest have got a minus 20 goal difference in the Premier League. They made 9 changes for tonight. The rock bottom of the Premier League. They had 8 shots on target. Fucking 8 shots on target. We had 2 the whole match. So look, I mean, let's get it off our chests and let's get Ricky and Jace's views on it in as well, and obviously the listeners and the viewers. But fucking shambolic, and I don't know what he's going to be saying in his presser right now, but I bet it ain't pretty.
Yeah, before we come over to the other boys here, just we are going to provide you with Antonio Conte's instant reaction to what we've just witnessed over the course of 94 and a bit minutes. Now, interestingly, Conte wasn't going to be scheduled to take the post-match reaction. It was going to be his assistant, Christian Stellini, as Conte is not obligated to do pre-match and post-match press conferences in the Carabao Cup. But Conte seemingly decided that he should be the one to say something other than Stellini, and bloody right so as well. On the back of that tonight, bloody right so should the manager be coming out and speaking on the back of what we've just watched. Join us also back on the show. I feel so sorry for him. We give him the cup games. We love having him on Last One on Spurs. He's had some tough ones down the years. Ricks, it's even tougher. I'm so sorry, bud. We've got the wonderful Ricky Norwood. Ricks, you are one of the most positive fans I know. Even tonight, you surely can't be positive after what we've just watched. Surely can't be.
You know what, Ricks? I'm going to have a different perspective, and I'm going to try and bring some balance to the show. I'm not happy about tonight's performance. There's not much I can say about it, but there was a couple of bits where I can go, okay, and put some other kind of perspectives forward. It was like Mr. Lee McQueen said there, it was a bit of a shambles. It was an opportunity for those that did get an opportunity from the start to kind of put an impression on the game. But to be fair to them, we've had, for instance, Basuma and Skip was in the midfield today, plus Højbjerg. And, when we've had our top 2, Højbjerg and Bentancur, we've still kind of lost the first halves, and we've then grown into the second halves. So to be fair to Skip and Basuma, who started today, it's been a trait of ours recently. And it's a trait we need to get out of. But like I say, look, it's a disappointing performance. It's another cup competition that we're out of. It's another opportunity to lift silverware that we all want, that we all need, and that we all feel we deserve after the hiatus of trophies. So this was another kind of disappointing performance where we could have had an opportunity at a trophy, and especially the amount of games that it takes to get to the final in this cup competition. So yeah, it's another opportunity lost. It's another disappointing performance, but these are problems that have been within our makeup for a long time, and hopefully we can get into that.
We will, Rick. We will. I am still absolutely raging. I am so angry, fuming with what I've just witnessed, and nothing will calm me down. Joe, I'll say something here, and this is going to get a mixed reaction. What I'm going to say, I felt so strongly about this cup competition that I would take a disappointing result against Leeds to go through tonight. That's how much this competition meant to me. I know I'm old school, generational with the League Cup. Growing up, to me, cups mean everything. They still mean everything. I know the League Cup is demoralised. It's seen as some kind of Mickey Mouse trophy. It's not seen as, the Champions League or winning the Premier League. It's still a cup. It still matters. And we haven't won one in a long time. It bloody matters. And it bloody matters to me. And that's why I do care. And Jace, just to bring you in, I know we keep joking. I know you want these shows to be shorter. I've got so much I could say, Jace, about that performance tonight, and I will, because I'm not going to hold back. We've got one game now left before the World Cup. On the back of that, I could do with a bloody break. I'm sure you can as well. What is going on? What have we just watched, Jace, over 94 and a bit minutes? Honestly. And he's muted. He can't better say anything either. Can you blame him? I don't blame him. Let's unmute him. Jace.
I think it's fair to say we watched a lot of turgid shit. That's what we watched. We watched a side that talk about that they want to win trophies, that showed no desire to win a trophy, that showed no desire to really compete. As Lee says, 2 shots on target all night against a team bottom of the league. When Forest went down to 10 men, let's be fair, you didn't think it was going to make any difference in the game at all, did you? You thought, okay, there's 11 minutes left. If somebody can just get off their arses and put a little bit of effort in and try and get a goal back and give ourselves 5-10 minutes, who knows? We might get to penalties. But that was poor. And the whole club, it's poor from the manager that yet again we set up and we're so turgid and passive in a first half. It's poor from players that continue to let us down, and it's poor from upstairs that they're the ones that should be leading the fact that this club's a big Champions League club, and yet again we have players on the pitch that we know shouldn't be on the pitch and that people don't want on the pitch. So it's a tough one. I'm probably different to you slightly, Rick, in that I think this is just as important as the FA Cup, because I think this is one where the final's done and dusted in February, and that the FA Cup kind of semi-finals and finals are right in the middle of run-ins when you might well be chasing other things. So actually, the chance to get this.
Can I say something to you, Jace? I want you to come back on this, Jace. If this cup is so poor and so below us, why does Klopp always want to go and win it? Why does Guardiola always going to want to go and win it? Why did Mourinho always want to go and win it? The serial winners in our game that we go and say they want to win trophies, they love trophies, they all go to win this bloody cup. So why is it below us? Why is it below us to want to win this cup? Why is it below some people to feel it isn't, an important trophy when we have won one trophy in 20 years? Well, I'm sorry, I am so angry with this performance. So angry with the approach. So angry with this mentality of this club.
Well, Klopp's made 11 changes tonight, so you can't really say he's gone for it, and they've won on penalties. But I get where you're coming from. It is really poor, mate. There's no defence of that performance tonight. And like I say, you have to look at those players and all this nonsense about we want to win trophies. Well, show us you do. And that's the sad thing, I can take losing a final to Manchester City and Chelsea and Liverpool, but we've been going out of cup competitions to Middlesbrough and Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. This is the worst part of it.
Antonio Conte has been speaking. We are going to bring those comments to you right now before we go back over to Lee. Conte has said to start his press conference, and I've got to be honest with you right now, this will hopefully calm me down. I don't think it will when I start reading these out. Let's see. Conte says, the performance, I have to be honest, I think maybe tonight is the energy was really poor for us. Don't forget it was the 12th game in a really short period. The games that we played...
Conte. I'm fed up with hearing it. Sorry, I'm fed up with hearing him moaning about the games. It's the same for everyone. Everyone's played the same games. We signed 7 players in the summer, 2 in January. It's another 9 players that we've had. He keeps talking about everyone's tired. That's why they're tired. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm sick of him talking about it. You keep going on about rah, 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 everyone's tired. Of course they're going to be tired. Jesus, give it a rest, Conte. Just get a better performance out of the players. He says it every press conference, doesn't he? Every time.
And is Jed Spence tired?
Yeah, exactly. Is Brian Hill tired?
Pick one or two of those.
Tired?
Pick one or two of those.
We're tired.
I'm just going to finish the rest of what he says here. The games that we played in the past, that's all right, mate. Listen, we're all frustrated and freaking angry. He said the games that we played in the past, every game was really difficult, and we lost. Sorry. The games that we played in the past, every game was really, really difficult, and we lost a lot of mental energy and physical energy. I think today we arrived in our heart and mind to try to win. But I have to say something was wrong with my players. I tell you not. I only say thanks to my players because these are players who are really tired. I have to manage the situation with Højbjerg and Bentancur because they were tired. The same for Harry Kane. Harry, until this morning, we waited to see if he could start or not. In this situation, he was the only striker. So again, I can only say thanks to my players. Conte went on to say, I have a group of players who first men and then good players. Another could be selfish to think to himself, in a week, I have to play the World Cup. Instead, Harry Kane showed to be a really good man. Not only him, though, the same for Bentancur, Perisic and Dyer. Another player who has played a lot of games. We face a situation that is really bad with the injuries. We arrived at the end in real difficulty. Now we have to try to rest and find energy. He finally went on to say at the moment, we have the same situation regarding the team at the moment. In the last period, many times, I think that can happen. And I repeat, in this moment, we need to stay and find positive things. If you go to find negative things, I think this is not the right moment. The period is really, really tough. They are losing a lot of mental energy and a lot of things to be stronger. I prefer to analyse negative and positive things in the morning. Our target is to recover well and be strong for Saturday. On Saturday, our fans have to play a really good part in the game. They have to push from the start until the end. If we can win it, it means that we finish strongly in the top four. I mean, no offence. Look, I have said on numerous occasions, I back Antonio Conte. I love Antonio Conte. But on the back of losing 2-0 like that to Forest, to come out and say to the fans, you need to back us after that. Of course, as fans, we've got a job. Of course, we've got to get behind a team. But it's also about the team to give us something to get behind. And that performance, that result, I take into account. We're in a difficult period amount of the games we're playing. Like Lee said, every team's got these difficulties. We're not the only team. Every team has got these difficulties. And that's what makes tonight so bloody frustrating. This is Forest. I mean, Lee, let's come to you because I'm listening a moment to chill. We're crashing out on a truly dismal night. And this is bottom of the league, Nottingham Forest. 9 changes by Forest, 2-0.
8 shots on target, Rick. 8 shots on target. They've got minus 20 goal difference in the Premier League.
Can you even sum up that performance?
Yeah, it was shocking. We've said it quite a lot. I mean, look, I've had my say, and by the way, I want Conte to stay and fix the shit 100%.
Absolutely,
and he's the man for the job. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But I'm just analysing tonight's performance from start to finish. It was shocking. How have we got no energy? Like Jay said, like Ricky said, you know, we want to win cups. We want to win trophies. It just doesn't. What doesn't correlate with the team at the moment, and actually I say at the moment, I talk about probably the first half, bar maybe Fulham, the first half in every single game that we've played this season, bar Fulham, and obviously tonight's performance, doesn't correlate with what we want to achieve and what we want to go after. And it's the first cup game, domestic cup game that we can play this season, and we've just gone out at the first time. It's just honestly,
the manner of it, at least the manner of it. I don't mind if we're fighting.
You don't mind losing. You don't mind losing to a worldie, or you don't mind. You know, if you've gone out, you've had nine shots on target. You've absolutely tried to ruin them, and you've hit the post. You've hit like the Liverpool game the other day in the second half, for example. Look, you kind of put your hands up and say, do you know what, we played with it, but we didn't lay a glove on them. They had 10 men from the 75th minute. I don't even think we had a shot on target after they went down to 10 men. What's going on? 2 shots on target, Rick. Just for the listeners, we've got the stats up here. 9 shots in total from Spurs, only 2 on target. 4 yellow cards, offsides a couple. Yeah, we had 59% possession. Our XG, Jay, you'll love this.
I know Jay hates XG. You look at 0.57 XG. 0.57 XG against Forest. No disrespect to them. I mean, Ricks, look. Just for me, just being dumbed out of the cup at this stage by this team, Forest. I mean, again, I will sit here and say, you know, when we've been deservedly beaten tonight, created a Forest, you know, but Forest are 20th in the league. They sit on 2 wins, 10 goals all season. They've made 9 changes, Ricks. I mean, like I say, you are one of the most positive fans I know. But surely listen, I know it's the League Cup. I know it's not the Premier League. I know it's not the Champions League. But my God, how can we dress it up tonight, honestly, Ricks? Can we dress it up?
There ain't no dressing it up, but let's look at it from another perspective right now. Nottingham Forest, they spent a hell of a lot of money on a lot of players in the summer. It has taken them a long time for them to find a working 11, a first 11 that they can live and rely on. They have had also they have a manager who plays counter-attacking football, who knows how to play this style of football, and that's what we got caught out on today. 2 counter-attacking, pieces of play, and they were quick. They're a quick side. Now there ain't no excuses for it. I'm just trying to look at it from another point of view. And right now they've got absolutely nothing to lose. They're coming in as the underdogs. They're coming in as bottom of the league right now. They're coming in with all those stats that you just came into and just expressed. And they're coming in with the freedom to kind of go, let's go and play our football. First and foremost, we know that we can attack them in the first half. Every team knows this right now, because we have had this first half syndrome for a long time. There was a short period of time of 3 or 4 games after the Gooner loss where we started games a bit better and we were starting to put all of the blocks together. But then it dropped off again, and then it's been the same trade. This has been our default setting right now. And they pressured us, and they knew that going in. They knew if they used the counter-attacking and the balls over the top, that they would have opportunities, and they could use their speed, because they do have a lot of speed, against us. They also, in the first half, they used the kind of nastiness, the grit, the kind of cup tie, FA Cup tie, you would say, type of mentality against us. And the ref let a lot of things go. He let a lot of shoves go. He let a lot of little small tackles go. We started to see that he was letting certain things go, and then we started to get a couple of tackles in ourselves. So it was a bitty first half, back and forth. There were periods of times where some of these new sets of players that were coming in, we're trying to put an impression on us. I wanted Jed Spence to start. That's the thing I've been praying for, hoping for, and wishing for recently. Was for at least him to start tonight and get some time. When we didn't start him, I did have my head in my hands a little bit. And do you know what? From his cameo alone, you could see that he's no worse than anyone else.
Why is he not getting more game time? And the reality is that he's probably going to go out on loan, Ricks. That's the reality, isn't it? I mean, if he's not even getting a start against Forest in the Cup, he's going to go out on loan.
Well, we first and foremost, Ricks, right now, in the reality of it, we don't know that, right? These are rumors, and the same rumors that we might have for selling people or buying Adama Traore, Jace, this year. Do you know what I mean? Geez. The same rumors, but the same rumors that might turn up about these players is the same rumors that we hear about loan or this or that. Now, the only reason that I can see right now, what's been said is that tactically, and he needs a bit of time to kind of step up, right? Listen, not that I agree to that.
A bit of time.
Not that I agree. To me, he should have been getting time on that field, because in the little cameo that he had, he was better than Doherty and Emerson Roll put together for me. He looked calm. He looked assured. He knew when to use his pace. The more games he has, the more he can learn the system and learn the pace of the Premiership. He went up against Premiership opposition last year in the Cup. I thought tonight was a perfect opportunity for him to start. He didn't start, but at least he got some time. So there was
Ricky, just quickly on Jed, right? I did find it quite strange. Every time he went down the right-hand side, he didn't pass the ball to Kulusevski. I thought it was quite strange. It's like four times. He looked at him and thought, I'm going to cut inside. And I was thinking, and then you had Dyer on an overlap. And I'm thinking, why is Dyer there on an overlap? Surely you want Kulu and then Jed overlapping. I thought it was just tonight, there's just no fluidity.
There is just no structure about this side. And I've got to be honest and say to you, I am really worried right now. And I'm going to say something to you. I'm not saying that I want Conte out, but from the outside looking in, if Conte wasn't the manager, this is the sort of form and the style that gets the manager the sack. I'm going to be able to say that to you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that forget Conte's in charge. Or listen, I have said it on numerous times. I want Antonio Conte to be our manager. I want him to be successful. I will back him. This is not me turning on Antonio Conte, but I'm just being honest and say to you that this kind of form we're seeing now, the style, the structure, the way we're playing, this is the kind of form that you normally see a manager get sacked for. Make of that what you will. I honestly mean that. And Jace, look, I'm going to be straight and honest with you here. The stats, I'm taking them out of McQueen's book. They aren't pretty reading. You know, we've conceded first in the last 7 games and been behind 2 goals in 5 of those. 5th domestic game in a row, Spurs are 2-0 behind. Haven't scored in the first half in the past 8 games. Spurs have been leading for 3 minutes of the last 630 minutes of football. Tell me how we can put a positive spin on that. Can you put a positive spin on that?
You can't be realistic. The positivity will come from some that will say we're into that knockout stage and we're still 4th in the Premier League somehow. So but I mean, if you're trying to take positivity from those stats you've just read, you can't do. And I think that's the thing. It's not so much the results, it's the manner of performances, and it's the manner that players come out and keep saying, no, we're starting slowly. We know we've got to start better. And the next game comes and nothing changes. And the next game comes, nothing changes. And the next game comes, nothing changes. And it's hard to believe that we're doing it on purpose. But it's happened so many times. You start to think, well, we must be doing it on purpose.
I agree.
I mean, but only lunatics do the same things on purpose over and over and over again, don't they?
It's insanity.
That clearly
it's
isn't
insanity.
working. I mean, it's
You
bizarre.
keep doing the same
Absolutely
thing over
bizarre.
and over again, expect a different result. It's the same thing every time.
Yeah. Can I just say,
And I
want to
mean,
come over.
in terms of people will always say, well, we haven't got the players to do it. You know, you're not going to get Emerson Royal or Doherty flying down the wing. You're not going to get Davinson Sanchez, dribbling into midfield like he's Virgil van Dijk. I get all of that. But, they should be snappier into a tackle. They should be more on the front. They should get the ball and be able to look forward. And do you know what? If they balloon it out of touch going forward, so be it. But their first thought is to look backwards and sideways. And this is the problem with it. There's no intent. And they might well be shit players. Yep. But you know what? Nottingham Forest have got shit players, but they had an intent about them tonight.
Jace, Bart, they made 9 changes tonight, and a lot of those players are their backup players.
Yeah, no. Rick, it's not only Manchester City that play with intent and that. Leeds United will come Saturday. They've got shit players. They will come with an intent to attack Tottenham and go to win the game. Brighton go to places with an intent to attack and go to win the game. This is the thing. And don't tell me there's wonderful players in Leeds side and that, Luke Ayling and Stuart Dallas is this wonderful ball-playing centre-half, because he isn't. But they'll have that intent to do things. We're just so dreadful to watch at the moment.
You know what? I mean, again, I will just pick up on a comment here. I mean, listen, it's very hard like tonight to find a fair balance. And I'm aware that I've gone pretty strong tonight. Probably the strongest that you've ever heard me on Last Word on Spurs in the last 4 or 5 years. But guys, I'm not going to hold back. I have to say how I feel. And I can't sugarcoat it. To some, they'll be thinking, this is crazy. It's the League Cup. Look, whether it's the League Cup, the Milk Cup, whatever, the Tiddlywinks Cup, that performance, right, it's been far, far too often this season. Far, far too often. And I take into account the players are tired. I do take that into account. I know it's been a long, rigorous schedule, but it's the same schedule for every single team, every single club, every single manager that's managing their players. And I've just got to be honest tonight and to say, at sometimes, it's not good enough. And look, I'm going to be honest. I don't think sacking Conte for me doesn't change anything. We've still got the set of players. We've been here before. Didn't help when we sacked Mourinho. Didn't help when we sacked Pochettino, Nuno even, or whatever. We all knew Nuno wasn't the right choice. But we're in the middle of building something under Conte. And again, it comes to that point where I keep on saying it on Last One on Spurs, where this is now about commitment from him and commitment from us as a club. He's got to commit to us in terms of a contract, and we've got to commit to him and give him exactly the players he wants. Now, there'll be a lot of you listening to this on your way to work thinking, give him exactly what he wants after that. Again, that's heavily debated. It's just an opinion of mine that I still feel we've got the right man, I can't believe, Ricks, I can't believe Conte wants us to play like this. I can't believe that. I can't. When I see his Juve team, when I see his Chelsea team, when I see what he has won, how he has won, how he has done it, I refuse to believe this is how he wants Tottenham to play. Do you agree on that?
No, I do, absolutely. And you know what? You don't even have to go to those teams to find the evidence of it. You can look at Tottenham at the end of last season on that top four push, playing the same system, seeing we were attacking from all over the place. That system, and a lot of the times, easy, Jace, a lot of the times, people would describe Conte's system as a defensive system, but it's not. There would be one defender, i.e. Dyer, and the left centre-back and the right centre-back will have license to go forward and create chaos. Now, we normally have that from Romero. A Conte system is heavily relied on the wing-backs. We all know this. We all studied it. We've all spoken about it and mentioned it many a times. We all know that, Emerson Royal ain't the guy for right wing-back to fulfill a Conte system. We all know that Doherty looks more comfortable in the position, but he's still not the one. He's still not putting out performances consistently where we're like, oh my gosh, he has to start. He's just he's doing well enough to be better or in front of Royal, which is not a lot. And then we've got Spence, who he's got whatever system or whatever plan he's got for Spence, all right? And we don't know. And I was happy that he got an opportunity tonight. But what I'm saying is that even if we look at the left side, Sessegnon's there, who we've been told is trusted. The other side, the other wing back, the other trusted wing back tonight. And he's playing at left wing back, and Perisic is playing up front, all right? Because this is a system today, and this is the players that we've got available. He still hasn't really ripped up any trees to be like, oh, I'm a starting left back. I'm going to be the guy that is going to, this is going to be my spot. Like, he's played at left back and he's played at left wing back on loan in Germany. He's had enough experience. He's been around. So he should be showing us a bit more now. We should be seeing a bit more from him. We should be seeing more accurate crosses. We should be seeing him beat a man. We should be seeing him confident. But even that, tonight, he's come off limping. Do you know what I mean? So we look at the tools that Conte has been given and the tools that he brought in the summer. Now, a lot of people are kind of like, well, why aren't you playing them? Why aren't you playing them? What he's done is he's upgraded the squad as a whole, right? So Winks, Lo Celso, Ndombele, they're not there. They're not playing. They're gone. Do you know what I mean? For
they could be coming back, though.
And we'll work that out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Do you know what I mean? But we've
upgraded it even further.
We've upgraded the squad as a whole, but we still haven't upgraded this first 11 and trying to make it even better. Now we have had these amount of bloody well games, and it is tiring. And you can see that their default setting is to go back to revert to defensive and to push back and to encourage pressure to try and break. But obviously, we just get sucked into this thing where then we can't play the ball forward, and then we're playing sit back football, which then becomes defensive. So all of these things that we've seen it. We saw it at the end of the season. And because of the amount of games, the traveling, the amount of rest days that they're getting, like he said, the mental tiredness. I know all of these are excuses and no Tottenham fan wants to hear them, but they do play a part. Even you, Ricks, that have been doing these shows, just recording these shows and going to work, I'm guaranteeing you, and plus having a little one, it's been a tiring process, bro. It's been tiring for you. I know it. Yeah, I know after this show, you can't wait for your bed. Do you know what I mean? But you've still got to edit and put things out on podcasts, and you've still got to do extras. So how much mentally and physically are these players on? Plus, there is this World Cup coming in a week. So there is a lot of things going on. And I'm not excusing these performances. I don't like these performances, but I believe that Conte and Paratici and the club have a plan and they have a direction for this team. And what we're seeing right now is not the Tottenham that is really there.
Yeah.
That is the real Tottenham. We've seen them play attacking. The biggest difference between last season and this season is the amount of games that we've had in a short space of time. When he's had 4 to 5 days to sort out a team, we was on it and we were playing and we were all over it because the intensity of the training and the play. But right now it's been crazy, and I think that this is what we're seeing. We're seeing a side run into the ground.
Just before I go to Lee and Jace, just Conte was asked why Spurs have now failed to score in the first half in 8 straight games and have gone 2-0 down in their past 5 domestic matches, and how he can change it. He replied, "We know. We see the situation and the last period many times. Maybe 7 games we were 1-0 down, and in some games 2-0 down. I think that can happen. In this moment, we have to stay in to find positive things, because if you go to the negative things, I think one side is okay in the right moment, but it's not in the right moment." Do you know what? I find that so hard to read at the moment. Maybe I can digest that in the morning, but I just can't read that right now. I can't read that. I really can't. Just can I get a couple of these chats out of the way, just so I'll read them, then I'll come to Lee. Josh on the screen here says, this club has no right whatsoever to cherry pick what trophies they can and cannot win when they've gone 14 years since our last huge January ahead. And we got a comment in here from Cootie, says, it's clear the players aren't executing what Conte wants. In the Amazon All or Nothing, we saw Jose being frustrated with poor passes. Trust Conte, give him time and support him. And just on that, Lee, look, I mean, I think it's clear that there's serious work that does need to be done in January. Whether it's about simply signing better players, that's one thing, but it's about overall trying to improve the quality of what we got. But I just wonder for you, so on the back of that and on the back of the last 7 or 8 games to reflect, have you changed or weathered your support in any way of Antonio Conte, or do you feel as confident as you was on the day he was appointed that this is the right choice for our football club?
100% is the right choice for our football. He's an elite manager. I think that we're going through a tough period right now. And I think that there's circumstances all over the place about it. Everything that Ricky's just said, you know, I know it's a lot for the same for the other clubs. You know, we've lost Vitrone, Jean-Pierre, not that long ago. A lot of the bad form or the mistakes that are coming from some of them players coincides with that time frame as well. I think that we've got to remember that everybody's human. I did a poll. I know it's on social media, but most of you viewers and listeners are on social media, so I'm sure that you all got involved. Just under 12,000 votes, and 94% of people said Conte in. So the people that are saying Conte out are very much in the minority. You know, he is an elite manager, and when you look at the likes of Jurgen Klopp and you look at Pep Guardiola's first full season in charge at Man City, they were 7 points behind Tottenham Hotspur when they finished 4th in the league, 7 points behind Spurs. Jurgen Klopp, when he first came in, they were getting battered by the likes of us at Wembley, weirdly enough, 4-1. Their defence was an absolute shambles. They were going to Norwich and getting done 3-2, and so on and so forth. And that was his first year. And what Pep's done at Man City, with all the finances that he's got, of course, is utterly remarkable. Obviously, he's got all the money. What Klopp's done at Liverpool is also, in my mind, completely remarkable. You know, he's won literally all of the trophies that you can win in that period of time. But it took him 3 years to start winning the big trophies. That's what he got to a League Cup final quite early on. But after that, it took him some time. So when Conte's talking, it's not waffle. When he's talking about patience and time, I think when he first comes to his football club, he was like, I'm not quite sure about this, to be fair. I'm getting done at Burnley and I think I might walk and I'm having a mare here and I'm just not having this. This is a joke. And that was almost angry Conte trying to get a reaction from his players. And you can't argue the fact it worked, right? We've got in the top 4. Absolutely outstanding. We have been starved of trophies for so long that for us, we've had patience and time. Now, we've had it for 15 years. Conte's had it for 12 months. We've had it for 15 years. So I get where he's coming from, and I think he gets where we're coming from. But the point being is that what we've got to do is, you can analyse the game tonight. It's absolutely woeful. I'm not papering over no cracks from that perspective. But when we're saying, and there was people in our group saying it, I think I might have said it as well, so I'm not digging anyone out, but people in the comments now, people are listening in the morning, you know, oh, it's about that, you know, Levy's got to do something, you know, Powteach's got, they can't do anything now, can they? Like, they can't do anything today. What can they can put a plan in place? They can't go and buy a player tomorrow because the January transfer window is not open. So you've got to look at what he can do. There is pressure there. We're playing badly, and I think probably for the first time, he's trying to figure out maybe the first time in his career, trying to figure out, how can I change this? What do I need to do? You know, at the end of the day, when you look at a Davinson Sanchez and people were saying he shouldn't play, and, you know, I'm not trying to stick up for Davinson Sanchez at all. I thought he was woeful again today. Like the other day was woeful. But the fact of the matter is, when he come in for the last 3 games at the end of last season against a massive game against Arsenal, we was in the Beavertown corner pin, bang opposite your South Stand, by the way. And we was in the Beavertown, and the news broke that Romero wasn't playing and Sanchez was, and he was outstanding. Like, he was brilliant for the last 3 games. So if you're the manager, honestly, if you're the manager and you're Paratici and you've seen them last performance and you're thinking, is he good enough? We've paid a lot of money for him in the past. Is he good enough to be an understudy for Romero based on them, the last games? You probably go, yeah, we don't need an upgrade there. Now you're looking at some of the performance, you go, well, we definitely need an upgrade there. So it's a bit of hindsight, isn't it? So I think that we need to beat Leeds. Absolutely need to beat Leeds at the weekend, and hope, a little bit of hope. It's hope that kills you. That maybe Newcastle mess up, because that gives us an opportunity to be third going into the World Cup break, and in the Champions League round of 16, and then we can reset. However, what I would say is Conte needs to start working that magic wand again, because it hasn't been out so far this season, and he needs to get it back out for the second half of the season.
I got to make a joke. A lot of my porties are in here, and I can't make that joke. The magic wand about Spurs with the wand. Lads, Tim, Nathan, Lex, that wand's broken, boys. Don't even come at me with that bloody wand after tonight. I tell you, sick of that wand.
Go
on. Jace, coming over to you. Look, we've just said it. There's serious work that needs to be done with his squad. You've said it on so many occasions. People laughed at you when you was on Love Sport and said, we need 17 new players. And the reality is, since you said that, we have had 17 new players. And I think we're still in that same situation than what you said 2 years ago to what we are now. So I'm really intrigued to know from you, what needs to change? Is it players? Does the manager need to be more adaptable? What do you think, Jace?
Well, I hear what Lee says, and I agree with him. You know, that Klopp had time and Pep had time and things like that. The one difference at those clubs was that when Klopp said, I want player X, he got player X. When Pep said, I want a goalkeeper that plays with his feet, they bought Claudio Bravo. It was a disaster. He said straight away, well, that one's not worked, so I want Edison. They went out and got him. You know, we're talking about, you know, I get what Lee's talking about with Davinson Sanchez coming in, but Davinson Sanchez signed how many years ago now? 5 or 6 years ago now. And we've known for most of those, perhaps other than his first season, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. So, yes, he can play well for 3 games, but in 30 games, he's not going to be good enough in at least half of them, is he? We know that. We could say the same about Dyer. We could say the same about Ben Davies. The disappointment for me is that the player like Bissouma has come in, and it was woeful tonight, Bissouma. And there weren't too many of us that weren't excited about Bissouma signing, and yet he's come in and been, you know, he's played a couple of decent games or decent halves, but overall been woeful. You know, Conte's system, we talk about it depending on wing backs. So we go and buy a wing back that is one for the club's future, and we continue to have 2 at the club on the right and in Sessegnon. I mean, Ryan Sessegnon's performance tonight, let's be honest, was absolutely woeful.
You know what? I've never known a guy so hesitant.
We saw him in the summer talk about fitness and really bulk himself up, and he looks a big, bulky lad. Yeah, he is so weak in a challenge. It is ridiculous. We saw him, 2 weeks ago, where who was it, the Newcastle fella, Longstaff or someone, knocked 7 bells out of him. Bullied. In the second game tonight, it's just so weak. You know, so weak. And a couple of times even, I'm not talking about the penalty against Trent, but there was the opportunity just before that where you saw Trent put an arm out and his first thought was, go down. You know, there's no positivity in him. He had that one game against, was it Southampton at the start Can I give you a crackers analogy, Jace? That guy is feeling the weight of the shirt. If anybody has ever felt the weight of a shirt, it is him. He looks completely and utterly out of his depth. And I have been one of his biggest supporters. When we decided, right, to allow Reguilon to go,
I kept saying, I understand that because I see a spark in Cess. Let me say this now. What are we? We're the 9th of November recording this.
Not there.
That spark is not there. And
It's not
he,
there, no,
bless him.
it's not.
Listen, I wish him all well. This is not going to work, and I'm counting the days down to a doggy, whatever you want to call him. I hope. Listen, I say this is a guy that's untested in this league, who's been phenomenal throughout Europe. I want him to be good. I really do want him to be good because he has to be good. Because when you look at what we've got down that side, Perisic is aging. And again, this is a night where you want your big players to step up. You like your Højbjergs, the Perisic's, the Kanes, the Dyers, the Basumas. This is what he's bought for these games, to be able to go in there, handle them. And we just could not handle that tonight. And
I think maybe a little bit of it was, and it hurts us as Spurs fans because we say we're the ones that pay their wages, and it shouldn't matter. They're at Tottenham tonight. They should be giving their all. But perhaps, Kane himself just thought, why am I playing here? Perisic, why am I playing here? Why am I playing here? Roddy, second half. I mean, he almost put one in the car park, didn't he?
But for a club, this is again his mentality. For a club that has won one trophy in 20 years, why am I playing here? You're planning to get Tottenham to win a cup. That's what you're playing here for.
Rick, I get that, but Rodrigo Bentancur has not been at Tottenham 15 years and been knocked out of 30 cup competitions.
No, he hasn't. But I really hope the manager goes into that dressing room before the game and says to him, look, this club, this fan base, we need to win. We need to win trophies. We have to win trophies. That is the message I want transcended to that dressing room before we go out of a game. And I'm not sure that is being transcended, because when you watch that performance back, if you can stomach it, because I can't stomach watching that back, there's no way when you look at that game, and I know it's tired. I keep going back to this tiredness thing. I agree with Lee. You keep telling people they're tired. They're going to be tired. You keep saying that to someone. You're tired, the energy. This is not about ranting and raving. It's just trying to find some logic here to what we're watching. And I am going to stop going because I know I am so frustrated, guys. Please forgive me. I'm so frustrated.
Let's be honest with it. If he's talking about tiredness, there is a reason for the tiredness, because we've deliberately made them tired.
Yeah,
we saw them flogged to death in Korea.
We've seen them.
Everyone talks about his sessions being so intensive. So, if we've got no energy left on Saturday, just, perhaps we don't do a training session, a double training session on a Thursday. Perhaps we only do one. And we do a little bit more work in the swimming pool.
I'm going to make a comparison on that.
Go on, mate. Then we're going to go to Rick's, then we are going to go for a break. We have to.
Yeah, right. I'll bring Rick's in on this because I think you might like this. But, if you look at the league table and you look at all the performances that has been happening so far, Newcastle are doing pretty well. They're playing once a week. Yeah, fair. And the game they played in 3 days ago, they've just gone out actually on penalties. They go through or gone out? I can't remember.
No, they've gone through.
They've gone through, but they went on penalties. Right, they couldn't win in the 90 minutes against Crystal Palace side. Arsenal, who are doing really well this season, fair play to them, playing some really good football. They could afford to make 10, 11 changes tonight because they haven't been playing Champions League. So the Europa League matches they can make changes for, which we can't do from a Champions League perspective because we're in the Champions League, they're not. Liverpool struggled the whole season so far. Obviously, Dr. Tottenham saw them at the weekend, but they've been struggling as well because they've been playing all their matches like to where you've come from, Rick's earlier. So if you have a look at the teams that are normally before, Chelsea struggled, right? Manchester United, they're still kind of struggling a little bit, right? In and out, and they're playing that the Europa League stuff. They're not really resting players. So maybe it is not just affecting us. Maybe it is affecting everyone else. And obviously, we're passionate about Spurs, and that's why you've got to remember that we have started our best ever Premier League season. The Premier League's been going for 30 years, and we've had our best ever start this season. Like it was like, by the way, it was about 2 weeks ago. We were the best. Yeah, we had our best ever start in the Premier League. So I know that. Yeah, the football's turned, and I'm not saying that stuff don't have to change. Of course it does, but I think there needs to be some sort of perspective in there as well. But I also don't think there's a miracle around the corner. When the World Cup's out of the way, if England get to the freaking semi-final, and that semi-final's got France in it, and that semi-final's also got, I don't know, Uruguay in it, and freaking, after other players that we've got playing, South Korea and Min Son, we're going to have players that are coming back from the World Cup completely knackered as well. So I don't think we should be expecting an absolute miracle, The only saving grace from going out of this cup tonight, and it's going to wind you up when I say this, Rick, so forgive me, is the fact that we don't have to play now the day after the World Cup final. That's the only thing we can say, because it's absolutely shite tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that again is, listen, that's the optimistic view that we've now got a full week to prepare for Brentford. But if you watch the last 8-9 games, does that matter when we start our first half, the way we're starting it? I mean, that's the reality. When you watch
I think it does, Rick, because if you look at his record last season and you look at Antonio's record as a manager, every time he plays a midweek game, we struggled. And when we got knocked out of Europe last season, the reason why we got the top four, and let me just give you some stats out of this blue book as well, right? The reason why we got top four last season, we played once a week, right? The reason why he went from Chelsea, took over Chelsea, 10th in the Premier League. The next season, he won the league against the Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham Hotspur, is because they didn't have any European football. And we were playing European football. And the reason why Juventus, when he went in and took them from 9th to winning the league, because they didn't have any European football. So, and the reason why he's got a bad record in European football is because he ain't very good at it. So you know, he prioritises the league over everything else. But at the moment, we're bloodthirsty for cups, so we've got to have everything. He made 4 changes tonight. He should have made 9. Should have made 9 changes, but he couldn't.
Rick, I just want to address an elephant in the room that I know many are alluding to.
It's a bit bizarre, isn't it? It's a bit bizarre that we can't play midweek football, but we want top 4 to play midweek football.
Yeah.
What is the point then? We might as well finish 10th and not then have a whole season off.
And at the start of the season, we talk about having a squad, and yet we don't play the signings we make. I mean, work that one out. Please work that one out. We go in. He talks about having a squad, right? He talks about having a squad, and we play the same bloody players in the first half. I mean, we have Spence as a debut tonight. Rick's finally just on this point. I mean, the squad. Let's address the elephant in the room. Lots of comments obviously saying that we don't talk enough about the ball. We don't talk enough about the squad. We know this squad, as it's shown tonight, is not good enough. We know several of these players are not good enough. And I can name them if you want me to name them, be personal. Again, we've said it on numerous occasions, the likes of, you know, arguably say long-term Dyer, Davis, Sanchez. You know, there's players here. Hill, to some degree, who I think tonight is unlucky not to get a chance the same way. Can I be honest with you? If Brian Hill got the same amount of opportunities as Ryan Sessegnon, I wonder who would have been a better player over time for us. I wonder. I mean, go on, Rick. Do you want to answer that?
I would just say to you, Rick, I mean, with Brian Hill, there's somebody that has actually come on and shown a bit of energy and a bit of effort. And if we're talking about players having no energy, just play him.
Him and Spence, when they came on, looked to make an impact. Think that would have done to their mentality, Rick, tonight if both of them had started. But just, Rick, address that elephant in the room for us. The squad, clearly not good enough, is it? Clearly needs a lot of investment. Is Conte the right man to get that money to spend on the squad, Rick? Answer me that one.
Rick's, yes, absolutely. Of course he is. Because we saw that with Bentancur and Kulusevski last year. Do you know what I mean? Just as an example to settle everybody's mind. Do you know what I mean? You have to look at the how far we've come, Ricks, all right? And that's as a club and as a squad, okay? From when Conte took over to where we are now, right? Where we was at the end of Nuno playing ridiculous football. I don't know if you remember that Guna game where we had no midfield. I don't know where they went. I don't know whether they went to the Chicken on the high street or what, but I don't know. They weren't in midfield. You know, there was a big open square, and I remember them terrible games. And you know what? Under Mourinho, and there were games where I felt like we were Titanic FC. The only way was down, my friend. And I thought that we was going to be that team that was going to be the butt of the joke every single week, etc., right? And when Conte came in, he not only galvanized the squad, but he galvanized the fans. And we all came together and we started to push them. Now, that he's not a magician. There's serious problems within this squad. There's serious problems with some of the players that we've recruited in this squad over time. And little bit by little bit, he's trying to sort it out. They as a club, are trying to sort it out. When it comes down to, when you look at us not being able to play an away game in the Conference League last year to where we are now, you know, playing in the Champions League, you know, so there has been a period of time, there has been a progression, there is a direction, but I do think it is about being run into the ground right now. I would have preferred him to do a whole change 11. For me, I would have given Tanganga a go at right centre back. Do you know what I mean? I would have given Dyer a rest. You know, I would, like you said, I would have given.
Do you think those changes, Rick? Sorry to come in there. Do you think those changes tonight would have changed that result performance? I'll be honest with you, I don't.
I don't know, but what I can say is that even if he was to do a change 11, some of us fans might feel that he's thrown away this cup and thrown away this opportunity from the beginning because he's put in a change 11. So he's done a bit of a mix and match. But even in that mix and the match, this energy that he's talking about and this tiredness that we're talking about and this kind of this mental tiredness as well, it is true. It does exist. Do you know what I mean? We don't know what else is going on in any one of those players' lives. We call them players, but they're men as well. Do you know what I mean?
They're humans. They're all humans. Listen, they don't go out. They don't go out tonight wanting to lose. They don't go out, wanting to play badly. They don't.
No. But there ain't no excuse for it. But what I'm trying to say is that I think it's a combination of things. Getting to the point and trying to get over the hill just to get to this World Cup. Some need the rest. Some need the training. Some need, some need operations. So there's a lot that needs to go on. Some want to go and play, and have that buzz. And we don't know, as well as those that are coming back, that will come back tired. But some might come back buzzing as well and ready to go. Yeah. Having that little bit of period of time that Lee mentioned there earlier by going out tonight and not playing the day after the end of the World Cup, it gives us an extra little bit of time. And I know it's terrible right now. And we felt the same last year. And I'm with you. I honestly, I just can't accept it, Rick. I can't. I know.
I don't see any. I don't see, bro. I'm telling you, Rick. I don't see zero, zilch, nil, zilcha, any positive of going out tonight. I don't see one. I don't see one positive. I said it at the start of the show. To me, this game is as big as Leeds, if not bigger than Leeds, because Spurs have got more chance of winning a cup than they have winning the Premier League and winning the Champions League. That's a fact, and I will not get over that.
Rich, do you remember when he spoke about levels? It's all right. It's good. Speak. Do you know what? If you haven't got passion and you haven't got emotion and you're not angry or upset or jiggling when we win.
Conscious of time. Get it ticked off. It's nearly an hour, bro. We've not even gone to the first break of the show. And Jason said to me, quick one tonight. We've got to go for a break. We've got to, Rick's gone. Finish your point, bro. Sorry.
Do you remember when he spoke about the levels, right? When he spoke about he can't bring in a second team. This is last year because the level drops so much. So what he wants is to try and bring the squad up to where when he changes the squad, when he does give a couple of players a rest, that the level doesn't drop dramatically. But we've seen that it's still dropping. Do you know what I mean? So we haven't picked up where certain players where we have needed to and improved the squad as much as we believed we did in the summer. There is still work to do. There is still a lot of work to do.
Rich, just quickly on that, right? Both Ricks, right? I know we've got to go to a break, right? But people talk about, we don't give a lot of balance in here, talk about the board, talk about transfers. Lloris, Davis, Kane, Lucas, Davinson, and Son, and I'm not talking about youth players in terms of Tanganga. There's 7 players there, all played under Poch. Poch joined in 2014.
There's problems that have been going back a long time.
And when we're saying about we've got to purge, as someone in the comments said, we've got to purge the squad, get rid of the people that are that are got the worst mentality and the bad mentality, whatever. Are we saying that them 7 people, because they're the ones that are left, out of that lot, how many are we getting rid of there? Is Kane part of the problem? Like, you're talking about elephants in the room.
Well, again tonight, Lee. Joe what? You know what?
We've got the maximum out of them now. Tonight, just like Liverpool, Coutinho, 142 million, and they rebuilt their squad with that 142 million. Everyone forgets that. They bought Alisson and Van Dijk off the back of selling one of their best players. We haven't done that for years. We haven't sold. But imagine if we sold Son. Imagine if we sold Kane. There'd be anarchy, especially for me. I'd be like, what? Kane's my favourite player ever. Like, what you can't. But are they part of the problem? Are they part of the bloody issue? Lloris, brilliant captain. We want to win a trophy for him.
He's not. Yeah, I mean, again, he's not playing tonight. But I know the point you're making. I understand what you're making. Again tonight, it's a Kane night. Kane again. You got to step up in these games. He's playing there tonight because he's mentally knackered, but he needs to step up. The games need to step up. Right, we are going to go for our first break of the show for our listeners and audio. Take you into this break. You're going to hear from Antonio Conte, who gives you his instant reaction to Spurs being dumped out of the League Cup for our watching audience here, we've got over 1,000 of you watching us live. Look, can I just say on behalf of all of you watching us live, those that are listening back to this in the morning, thank you so much for all of your incredible support for Last Word on Spurs. Not only today, tonight, tomorrow, next week, whenever you can listen to this, but throughout the course of the last 4 or 5 years. We've had some difficult nights. This is right up there. This is right up there in a difficult night. Probably the most passionate and angry you've ever heard me. And as I said to you guys, look, there's just some games that roll me. Listen, being beaten by Arsenal, Chelsea kills me. Second to that is going out of cups. It kills me. Football-wise, going out of cups kills me. It really, really does. And again, thank you so much for all of your support. Can I also say a massive thank you to the wonderful Ricky Norwood, the brilliant Lee McQueen and Jason McGovern. It is late, and these boys are rocking it, and it isn't easy coming on. I know Jason's timing me, and I think he's got a noose there and he's tied around my neck. But I do want to thank the boys because it's never easy. And again, these are a real part of what makes Last Word on Spurs so special to so many people. And thank you, boys. It isn't easy. It really, really isn't. I am conscious that we've had over 60 questions coming tonight, and I just want to read a few of them out. MJ Boy Hotspur says, did we just throw away the chance of this cup because we had a bad and wrong attitude? TWFF says, surely this is now the time to be questioning whether it is the right time to be handing Antonio Conte for a new contract. TW says, how many more days until the World Cup and January transfer window? I'm counting them down. Do you know what? I never thought I'd say that on Last Word on Spurs. I can't wait for the World Cup. And I'm not even into World Cup. I don't care about, I say it on here, I don't care about England, don't care about the country. Spurs is my life. Love Tottenham, love talking about Tottenham. But I honestly can't wait to get to the World Cup because I bloody need a break. I know you boys do as well, need a break mentally as well. Bob Plain says, Conte working with championship defenders at best. What do people expect? Owen says, it's time the actual fans now start to unite and put the pressure on the ball to back the manager. Digger says, hi, Maurizio, it's Daniel. Wonder if you're around the back to the coffee. Look, I mean, I think we're all on the same level here that we all want to see Conte being back to some degree. Again, that's a question that's out there that will, again, polarize the opinion whether Conte is right. But what I am going to do is I am going to bring up the lineup from tonight. We just got to rattle through this very, very quickly. So Spurs, of course, look, they did name a strong side for tonight's game against Forest in the Cup.
Rick.
I can't do any of that kits at this time.
Get these graphics right, mate.
You're going to say wrong time.
Sanchez wasn't in the middle. Oh, come on, Rick. Get these graphics right. You've had a shocker here. Your performance is worse than the players at Forest. Come on.
How about you laugh? I feel like my performance has been worse in this game against Forest. I've spoken tonight probably far too much than what I should. But this team, like we said there on the screen there, saw 4 changes in total, forced to make in his Spurs debut. It was the first time Lloris was missing from the lineup since the League Cup semi-final second leg to Chelsea on the 12th of January. We had that defensive backline there, if you want to call it a backline, is probably being kind, of Sessegnon, Sanchez, Longley, Dyer and Perisic. Skip started in a midfield three with Yves Bissouma and Højbjerg. Richarlison back on the bench after a couple of training sessions, as was Dejan Kulusevski, who obviously, of course, was being managed cautiously. Son's injury and fitness problems for Richarlison has probably ended up, well, with seeing Kane start tonight, however you want to make of that. Naming the starting lineup again. Jed Spence not amongst the starting lineup, as many were hoping to be predicted, as we say. But it does make it very clear now that when you look at that team tonight that played, probably Spence, Tanganga, Hill, Sarr, you'd imagine surely going out on loan. Lucas Moura was suffering from an inflamed tendon, meaning he missed out on the game, as did Ben Davies, and the wonderful Ali Gold, as always, providing us with that breakdown. That team read Forster, Sanchez, Dyer, Longley, Doherty, Skip, Basuma, Højbjerg, Sessegnon, Kane, Perisic, with a bench of Lloris, Tanganga, Spence, Emerson, Bentancur, Sarr, Hill, Kulusevski, Richarlison. And I think it's good to say at this moment that, as we mentioned earlier, Steve Cooper, Forest manager, he made 9 changes to his team, including the former Spurs player in that starting lineup, Sergio Aurier. Jason, start with you. Team-wise, be honest, is that what you was expecting? Any surprises when that team came out?
No surprises. I think performances have partly suffered. I mean, let's be, to be missing 4 attackers fit to start at the 5 is hasn't helped the levels of performances. In fairness, has it? And that's why when people are saying I'm surprised they haven't rested Kane, he just felt, how can I rest Kane? Richarlison's probably not fit to start. Would even Richarlison put in a shift tonight, knowing it's that close to the World Cup? Lucas Moura has obviously been really struggling all season with an injury. Kulusevski, he had 20 minutes the other day, but was he really going to risk Was he really going to risk him giving him 60 minutes against Leeds for a cup tie? I'm not sure. So, and let's be honest, from Stellini's press conference yesterday, I think we'd have been stunned from what he was talking about, Spence, if Spence had started. So that was kind of the lineup. I perhaps was a little bit surprised even that Skippy started. Perhaps I did think Højbjerg, Bentancur and Bissouma. But it is what it is, isn't it? Ben Davies has got a rest tonight, but you look at that side and you can see why it's struggling a little bit, can't you? None of those players, or very few of those players, are really in form. Not many are playing with much confidence. Confidence is a big part of being able to play well, so it's not surprised that they're struggling.
Coming over to you boys very quickly on the team. Let's go to you, Lee. You saw that team tonight come out. No spectacles in that starting lineup, as obviously many were predicting. But overall, you look at that side, Lee. We've got a number of internationals in that team. A number of them. You must have thought going into that game that was good enough to beat Forest, who made 9 changes and effectively are fielding a team there that really it is their second string. But what I would say is a lot of those players we saw tonight were absolutely hungry to prove to the manager why they should be getting minutes. What did you make of that team, Lee, overall?
Well, most of these players should be hungry enough to
absolutely,
show the manager
absolutely.
Giving them minutes.
They should be. They should be.
I must pick up what Mark Changor said there was about Forster, because I said there was no benefit, there was no positives at all from this game. But Fraser Forster played well. I thought he kept us in it.
Our best player. Our best player.
Our best player. But when you look at that back line, it is terrible. When you look at that back line in that way, there's no pace there, is there? Maybe Sanchez got a bit of pace. We look at that midfield, by trade, they're defensive midfield players, all 3 of them. So we've got 3 defensive midfield players. We've got 3 at the back. We've got Sessegnon that don't want to take on a man ever. And you've got Doherty. He had our best chance of the game, to be fair. Amazing shot that he hit that came over to him. There was no crosses. Every single time, I want to push that graphic up a bit, but every time Sessegnon and Doherty get into that final third, the ball doesn't come across the box. You've got Kane dropping deeper. No one's there. Perisic was ferrying around a little bit, in terms of, trying to press and so on and so forth. No one tonight got their foot on that ball and said, I'm running this game. No one. They didn't do it. And that's the problem. The problem about the whole Conte as a manager and doing the next person coming in. Where's the creativity there? We already know you're breaking your toilet there, Ricky.
I think he's jumped out the window, eh?
I dropped my water bottle. Sorry.
I'm about to say, I wish we dropped that game tonight, let alone drop the water bottle. I wouldn't blame you, Ricks. Jesus Christ.
I was like, gling, gling, gling. I was like, oh my gosh.
I thought he dropped
the You look at the creativity.
That backline broke his screen there. I thought that backline broke his screen, wouldn't it, Ricks? God.
Nearly, mate. Nearly.
Sorry, Lee. What?
But no, that's right. Just finishing off on the team. Like you look at that. Where's the creativity in that team? Like at the end of the day, I'll quickly say this, right? For all of the things that we're going 2-0 down, 1-0 down, we ain't scored a goal and all that sort of stuff. The reason why we haven't scored a goal in the first half is because we freaking defend on our freaking 18-yard box every single first half. If you start pushing up and getting on the front foot and having a go and having a shot, I don't think we have a shot on target until the 30th minute. 35 minutes the other day, 25 minutes. We only had one, which was Doherty in the first half. Today, whenever that chance was, you've got to go after teams and have pepper the goal, have a shot, have another shot, get in amongst it, show the centre-backs that you're there, Harry Kane, backing into him right in the beginning. And they can't go and press, like I said loads and loads of times, if our defenders are fanning about with the ball at the back and forth, I don't know where to go, back and forth on the edge of their 18-yard box. The other team's just going to go, oh, hello, I'm going to go nick that. Bang, get a bit of press, go and nick it. No creativity. The wing-backs are absolutely woeful. It's just, there needs some serious more surgery or some more coaching. And like I said this before, and I'll say it again, when you go to the gym, or say you're carrying a few pounds, so shall we say, after Christmas, right? And you're carrying a few pounds and you want to get it off. When you first go on a diet, or when you first go get down the gym, the first few pounds to get off are pretty easy. Right? It's pretty easy to go from, I'm a bit punky, a bit podgy to I look all right. It's getting to the bit where you want to rip yourself up and get ripped. That's really difficult to do. That's where we are. When Conte walked in a year ago, we were so poor, he could just basically wave a bit of his like magic around, and Dyer and Davis become 6 out of 10s. All of a sudden, they're 8 out of 10s. Now they've got to try and get from 8 out of 10s to 8.5 or 9 out of 10s, and it's impossible. So now we're judging them based on, again, now that it's like the levels have dropped now to like 4s and 5s, because it's harder to get to that next level. And so most players can't get there. That's the point, lads, listeners, viewers. Most players can't get there.
Can I just say to Jan, he says, my consultant room is open from 12 o'clock tomorrow. It's far too late, Jan. Get me in at 9 o'clock, will you? I've already got a call for it. They're just waiting line. I mean, that's 24 hours. I just, honestly. But, guys, for Jason's sake and for all of our sake, we're going to fly through the game. There's not much to even talk about in this game because it is so utterly poor. Joe, can I just say, that's the most I've laughed.
What have we done for the last hour? Jesus.
Jace, this is called post-match analysis. Okay, this is
analysis. Post-match anal. That's what it is. Yeah, it's an anal cyst.
Listen,
I think that's what it is.
You do this once every 3 weeks. Try doing this twice a week. It's killing me. It is killing me. I can't wait for this World Cup. I'm gonna sit there and I don't know what I'm gonna bloody do. Right. I mean,
I'll give you the run through. Minute 0 to 45. 1 shot on target, shit. Minutes 46 to 90, 1 shot on target, shit. Players, shit. Forster, good. Substitutions, shit, and shit. Done. Leeds preview. What's up?
You want to come and run this, Gaff?
That is done. I'm with you, mate.
Job done.
All right, let's just do the goals. Sorry, we have got to do the goals. Can I be honest here? Joe Mack says it's great here. Jason, do you enjoy being on this show? Can I tell you? No, he bloody doesn't. That's why he's got the cricket in the bloody background. Look, I mean, Forest could have actually started and gotten 1 up. I mean, just credit to Forster, because even on that first moment, we had a ball canned off the post. It was absolute chuckle vision, right? It was comedy capers. Honestly, if you were watching that first half, you knew you had to have that. Was it the Benny Hill music in the background for that moment? It was honestly just absolute car crash. And if Crackers is watching, bless him, I think he's had an early night. He's on annual leave tonight. In Crackers' world, Clown's car on fire. That is what that was. An absolute car clown, if I can say the bloody thing, on fire. That first half, just absolutely non-committal. Just reckless. I mean, Eric Dyer flicked Peris's corner over the bar. Sure, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. That first half summed up with Bentancur replacing Højbjerg as Conte gave one of his 2 midfields 45-minute rest. Oh, I should be laughing. I could actually cry. I really, really could. Forster pushing away another save to start the second half. But I mean, look, let's discuss the first goal. It would be typical, wouldn't it? It would be typical. Spurs 1-0 down, and the manner of it, I don't know whether you, Lee, want to start here, because I tell you what, the amount of time the lad had to score, I mean, he could have literally, I don't know. So just can you get that first goal over and done with for us, Lee? Do you remember that first goal? We forgot about the first goal.
Yeah, well, it's their left back in it, or their left wing back, or whatever. He's coming in. He's cut inside. To be fair, if he's playing on the left wing, if you've done your research, you're thinking, is he 2-footed? Is he going to cut inside? You're going to see him down the left, keep him down the left, or enable him to cut inside. To be fair, I think it was Dav. Unfortunately, I think Dav saw him on his right. I thought he let him saw him on his right. But you've seen it time and time again. Who remembers the William Gallas back in the day against the clown that used to be in goal for Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah.
Casey Keller.
Which one? We had several. Which one?
So you have to. I'll give you a clue. He was Brazilian.
Oh, Gomez.
You can see when Gallas,
look at that.
You can see when Gallas comes in, he just curls it round everyone, doesn't he? He uses the people. He uses the people to curl it round, and this is what he did. I can't remember the fella's name. He's got a double barrel name, and good.
Lottie, it was a great finish, but Rick's overall, I mean, defensively, man, we back off. He has so much space to cut in and curl an inside shot, the far right post. I'm thinking the guy could be there for another 5 minutes lining it up. We're just so slow and pedestrian, Rick. And that summed up that first half.
Yeah, but it's summed up the first half of many a game right now. This is what we're saying, that there has become a trait there. And I've got to kind of jump on the back of what Lee was saying earlier there. We've seen when we've pushed up, we've seen when we've started on the front foot, and we've seen that everybody plays better and we're more attacking and we're more threatening and we give the opposition more to think about. And this whole kind of thing about tiredness as well, I've just been thinking about it there. If we've only started playing after we've conceded a goal or in the second half, right?
Have we?
But surely not tonight. But surely that's expending more energy to chase the game and then to go and to get back into the game or to get back in it to win it. Or surely that's expending more energy. So why not rattle through the gears as quick as you can in the first half? Try and get a couple of goals up, and then maybe from 70 minutes onwards, you can start kind of slowing down and saving that energy for the next game. I don't know, man. Just flip it on its head. And before you go on,
Rick, sorry, just on that, right, Rick, I'll be honest with you. I haven't dug it out, but I'm going to do this now because I'm saying this on air. I remember doing a show. I can't remember who was on it, but I remember doing a show under Jose Mourinho, and I come out with some ridiculous line about why do we start so slow? We need to go in a tunnel with a wet fish and slap the player
across the face. Yeah, right? I remember this.
And that was under Jose. This was like 2-3 seasons. It's still happening. It's worse now, even. What is happening with people?
So what does that say to you?
Or saying beforehand, like, why are they coming out like this, Rick?
I think that when they talk about mentality, right, I think this is one of the keys to shifting the mentality that we've had before. This is what we're saying. It's like the same problems are arising under many managers, right? And we've seen improved performances, and we've seen, especially at the end of last season, we can see that we're going in a certain direction. But Conte can't get rid of these things that have been inherent in our side, embedded in our side for a very long time. These are problems that had not just arisen today. They didn't turn up last week or this season. They've been there for a couple of seasons, at least 3 years now. Do you know what I mean? At least, minimum. So it's getting rid of those things. It's getting rid of that default setting that they have when everything goes to pot and when they start panicking and when they start being on the back foot and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then their default setting kicks in, and then it's what it is, you know. But it's Lee. You're not going mad yourself. You're not repeating yourself, bruv. You're just seeing the same problem that's been there for so long.
Over and over again. And these are a few different managers. This is Poch. This is Nuno. This is Jose. This is we're seriously, these players, and that 7 I talked about earlier, because a lot of them have gone out. We're not going to see off another manager, are we? Honestly,
no, we can't. Well, we can't see off. We can't see this one off. You can't be. You can't be. Surely.
I think as well, Lee. You would say that who are the influential players in the dressing room? And you're right. We talk about Dyer, we talk about Son, we talk about Kane, we talk about Hugo,
Lloris,
you know, and sometimes it's like the old rinse and repeat. I mean, how many times have we done a show like this? Sometimes a fear that when you've lost so many times in this manner, it stops hurting.
Yeah,
and it becomes acceptable. And Kane will have gone out of, Kane has now gone out of 48 cup competitions or something in his time. How much, and that's not picking on Harry.
No,
how much has that hurt him tonight? Yeah. How much has it hurt Eric Dyer tonight? How much has it, Sonny might be sitting at home with a fracture, but is he really hurting tonight that we've gone out of it? And so when the new players come in, it's actually the mentality of that old ones that have got to change, that it's got to hurt them. But sadly, I fear it's gone so far with them that it's just, we've gone out of the cup and it's Leeds on Saturday. And that also partly comes from the very, very top of the club that it doesn't hurt the board when we're out of a cup. It doesn't hurt them like it does supporters. The 3,500 that have gone up to Forest tonight, they'll come home steaming. And the board won't come home steaming.
Can I just say on that, James, very quick?
That.
Yeah, can I just say on that very quick? Because I've got to fit this in because it's important. I do fit this in. That I think only less than half of the players went over to clap the travelling fans at the end. Now, that itself tells you, I mean, that's just not right. I'm sorry. Listen, I know players can't wait to get off the pitch on the back of a performance like that. I get that. I understand that. But when your fans have been backing you for 94 plus minutes, and I've got to say something, there is a difference between the home supporters and the away supporters that go. I'm not talking about they care about Tottenham less. I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is that away support is there through absolute thick and thin, as well as the home at times, as well as the home. But at least every player give them an applause, man. I mean, at least every player.
And you're right. It's all right to go over doing this in Marseille last week. But if you're going to do that and take the plaudits,
go over there.
You have to. I mean, Damari Gray went over last night. I think it was the only Everton player or something. Clapped to everyone was. But at least he's gone and done it.
Listen, we win together. We win together. We lose together. It's not good enough. It really isn't. Right, guys. We've got to fly through this. Ricks, we've discussed that.
Why have we got to fly through it?
Conscious of time. Jason's got a stopwatch on there somewhere, bless him. He has. Look, after that, Sanchez allowing Noddy to cut back and score. It should have been 2-0. Forster again making a really good save. So we're going to half-time. As we said, 5th domestic game in a row. Spurs going 2 down. And then Ryan Sessegnon. Man. I mean, a moment for Sess to forget, for us to forget, for all of us to forget. I mean, he bullied off the ball so easily. That's the only word I can use is bullied. So easily. I mean, we are all over the place. 6s and 7s lead defensively. And can I be honest and say this to you? I'm probably, again, putting my hopes up really high here. I am counting down the hours, the minutes, the seconds until Destiny Udogie arrives. I don't know why, because I can't believe he's going to be any worse than Cess, bless him, who quite frankly, and it's not to pick on one player, he just looks out of his depth in a Spurs shirt. That goal typified just what we are not seeing that we need to see. Does that make sense, Lee?
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, we had a bit of banter on a WhatsApp in the week, didn't we, about Cess and Udogie, and I started getting out the stats and sharing. Cess had a better goal scoring ratio than Udogie and all that sort of stuff as well. Nice one, mate. But look, I mean, there's no denying that today. You didn't see anything from him from a defensive perspective, and you didn't see anything from him from an offensive perspective either. It's not as if he was smashing it up the other end of the pitch and therefore he was defending badly.
I saw lots of offensive things he did. I was offended by his performance.
That was 18 rated. I tell you, you would not put that on before the watershed. You really wouldn't. You wouldn't make anyone go back and watch that. Not if you're trying to finish him off. It was that bad. Sorry, boys. It really was. Now, Rick. Sorry, I'm going to mute myself for my own sanity.
Look, I think, generally, when you're talking about watching it back, like they should be watching it back, and they should be watching it back tonight. So I mean, don't worry about double sessions tomorrow. Like Conte is a work that he knows how to win. I'm sure he will get the squad, the players back into a mentality of a winning mentality. We are in a really bad situation at the moment in terms of performances and where we are and how we feel. Yet, I know it's a context thing and you don't want to hear it, but we are in the top 4 and on the last 16 Champions League. I know.
But
it is so weird.
We got to be real though, Lee. That Champions League group, we that was probably on paper the easiest Champions League group to progress, I didn't agree with that comment in the group earlier, and I'm not having that. There's no easy away game in the Champions League. No, there's not easy away game.
There's not. I'm sorry.
The group we had, really, Spurs should be, with the players and the manager they've got, they should be getting top in that group. They should be.
I think that's part of the problem. I think that why should we? We haven't won a trophy since 2008.
You're right. You're right.
No, I don't agree with that.
It's mentality, mate. It's mentality for me.
We have to work hard, and we are a top 6. 5th average finishing position in the Premier League, 5th. We're a top 5 club in the Premier League. We've only ever been in the Champions League 5 times. It's our 5th time we've ever been in the Champions League. There's no right to get out any freaking point.
You're right, but the group we had, you're right on that point. But the group we had, in my opinion, we should be comfortably progressing now. I know every away game's tough. I get it.
Progress. I'm sorry, we did. We topped the group with 11 points.
Yeah, come on. It went down to match day 6, where we could have ended up going out the bloody thing.
How many other teams in the Champions League qualified after match day 4? What? How many?
I don't know.
Exactly. In the Conference League, we didn't even make we didn't make knockout stages.
Listen. I'll be Lee. Look, I love you, bro. And listen, we're not me and Lee are not falling out here. Look, listen, this is just about for me. This is just about for me. I think the problem for me is I can't look at Jason's face. The problem for me, it's just the style and the manner of these last 9 or 10 games that factors into that Champions League. Because I'm telling you, mate, had we played, as Jason walked, had we played our absolute
it's all right, I got my biscuit tin to watch this.
It really ain't that. It really ain't that. No, but honestly, mate, I just feel with the players that we've got, I know there's no cruise of a Champions League group, but the thing for me is that had we played to our absolute maximum, I do think we could have got that job done quicker. Do the players deserve credit for going through? Yeah, they do deserve credit. But I'm just thinking the manner in how we've approached some of those games, it could have been done quicker. Right, Jason's come over to you to discuss the second goal, then we will come over there. All right, let's go, Rick. This guy, honestly,
his face.
Whoever said that comment, does he enjoy this show? I'm debating that. I really am. He does done it for the last 5. Listen, he walked under Mourinho. Who knows what he'll do? I tell you, I really do know. Rick's, look, it actually should have been 2-0. Forster made a save from Surridge 1-on-1. But as we've said, the goal. I've already gone past this. We're already doing the second goal. I'm losing my freaking mind here. Horrible defending for the second goal, as we said, all over the place. Sessegnon himself just absolutely weak. But I think to sum up Costa in one sentence, Jesse Lingard scores his first goal for the club from yards out, 0 contributions in the last 12 games. Inevitable that he would score tonight. And I think Surridge is his first assist all season. If ever there was a sentence for Anthony Costa, that's it.
Ricks, do you know what? All I could hear was Costa's voice in my head saying, Serge is going to score. Serge is going to score. He's going to have a worldie. Watch him have a worldie against us. Bro, I was watching it just hearing Costa say these bloody well things. Oh, my gosh. What can we do, bruv? What can we do? Oh, mate. So, do you know what? I missed the question. I was just thinking about Costa.
It's more the nature of that second goal, Rick. I mean, we've been... Look, how defensively, I mean, how can we dress this up?
It was all over the place. But... There ain't no dressing it up. We've spoken about Sanchez. Do you know what I mean?
Does it worry you, Rick, the lack of a reaction after going 1 down? Does that not worry the lack of a reaction?
I mean, but we've seen us go 1-0 down and put in a reaction. To see the lack of reaction tonight, is it worrying? I'm not sure, bruv. I'm not sure. It was a whole. We had a different midfield in there. We had, I don't know. When Hill came on, you could see a spark of energy. A spark as well. You can see a spark of energy of him trying to create something.
I'm broken.
He is broken, and there's nothing
I am broken.
Say,
I am broken tonight, man. Honestly, Joel, I am broken. I'm going to be up to 3 a.m. editing this freaking show, and I'm broken. And Jason takes the biscuit. I'm sick of this.
He does. But I've tried. Listen, I agree with all of the gentlemen tonight and the comments. And all I've tried to do is just try and look at the other side of things because I knew this show was going to be a tough one. And you know me, normally.
Do me a favour, Rick. When we get to the other side, bro, can you wake me up? Because I'm freaking sick of this side.
Mate. I'll try, mate. I'll try.
I love you, man, but this is so tough.
Next year, business end. All right, it's a business end of the season. We're gonna have a January transfer window where Adama
Are you trying to finish me off?
Is gonna come in and he's gonna oil up his arms and he's gonna change the game for us. All right, we're gonna go down to the final Champions League again. We're gonna win loads of money. You know what I mean? We're gonna win the money into the season.
Just honestly, I am so.
I'm trying.
I know, bro. I know. Jace, look, we've done this second goal. Let's get over that. Triple change for Spurs. Kane taken off almost on the hour, as was Perisic and Skip coming off for Kulusevski, Richarlison, Hill. Jace, honestly, with Kane going off, did you have a problem with that?
No.
You accepted it?
Yeah. Because he didn't look arsed, did he? Not be funny. He didn't look arsed.
Okay, let me ask you, because everyone keeps saying that. Was it that he didn't look arsed, or is he just mentally and utterly knackered? Because Conte's saying tonight that he doesn't ever want to be put in that situation again, where he's having to overplay a player, and Kane in the morning apparently was touch and go as to whether he could or couldn't play, and he's had to play him.
Well, whatever the reasons for it were, he wasn't able to play as we know he can play. Therefore, it wasn't a problem that he went off. He didn't create anything. He never looked like scoring a goal. He wasn't exactly running around thumping the badge, lifting players, was he? So actually, on the evening, what did we lose by him going off? I know the feeling in the group was if it goes to a penalty shootout, who's going to take the penalty? But we were never going to get to a penalty shootout. So, no, I didn't have a problem with him going off whatsoever. And we have seen, haven't we? I thought when they scored the second goal, my first thought was back to the North London derby where Conte thought, that's it. It's all about Saturday, get players off the pitch.
Yeah, which is so wrong. Which is so wrong, man. On so many levels, that is so wrong.
But, let's be honest. I think what was more depressing, like I say, was not even so much that Conte thought that, was that once the red card came, it made no difference to the urgency we showed. It made no difference to the energy we showed. It was 10 men.
Forest, in the 65 minutes of that game, were olaying us. Forest, 20th in the Premier League. Nine changes, Lee. Lee, come in here. Just Lee, please save me, right? 9 changes, 20th in the Premier League, and they are olaying us off the pitch. And we've taken Kane off. And they've gone down to 10 and they've gone down to 10 men.
Rick, have you done a Bush Tucker trial tonight or something? I mean, what?
Honestly, I can't. I mean, the Olays were a joke, mate.
I've been eating bugs and spiders tonight.
I'm sorry, man. Do you know what? I just honestly.
It's
terrible, mate. This is the hard thing, isn't it, Lee? That at 2-0, did you ever believe we were going to get back into that game?
I did at 1-0, didn't I? I said in the group, I thought at 1-0, I think we'd still go on and win the game. And then I think it was only 7 minutes later, and then they scored their second, and I was like, oh, that didn't last so long. I forgot to delete that message. At 2-0, did I think? I thought if we could get back, if we could score quite quickly,
get one back.
Yeah, if we can get one back, then it might go. Based on our recent form, you would probably back yourselves, wouldn't you? But like you've already covered, we didn't lay a glove on them at all. And then when they go down to 10 men, nothing changed. It was like we said. I mean, to be fair, Cess went down with holding his hamstring because he's got it in his head that he can't run anymore.
I think he done us all. I think he done us all a favour.
And it was like playing with 10 men anyway, because at the end of the game, his head.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just to show a bit of human side to me here, because I feel bad because I've gone in on Cess. Look, credit to him. I know he was struggling really. After I've battered him tonight, this is probably real hypocritical of me to say this. After I've gone in on the bloke, credit to him because he was literally limping on for the full 90. So.
You watch what will happen. We'll get to a Leeds preview in a minute, and we've battered this team. We've absolutely ruined them all night.
And you're all going to say 4-0. You're going to say 4-0.
Tottenham win. You watch it.
I mean,
3-0.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing is that they almost go nearly 3 up. Johnson racing clear. Fraser Forster. Can I just say Fraser Forster tonight? Lee, you're right. I think you said it earlier, Ree. I'm fucking losing my mind. Sorry, Lee. I'm swearing as well, which ain't great. I have to apologise, guys. It's been one of those nights where. Wow, just get me to that World Cup. I can't believe I'm saying this. Get me to that World Cup. And I love Last Word on Spurs. I love you boys. I love doing this show. But I honestly, I warned them tonight. I said to them, if we go out, I am... Oh, this is going to be tough. It was meant to be therapy. I think I feel worse. I feel discussing it. And I never feel like that. Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, we've done the game. Credit to Forster tonight. I think, like I say, he was definitely Spurs' player of the match by a long way. We've discussed that defence far too long. Sanchez probably showing why he probably does need to move on. Dyer, nowhere near the commanding player we saw last season, as Jason briefly touches upon us and leaves us there. Clement Longley as well, often so composed, just looking so jittery defensively. Matt Doherty, I don't think he offered much at all tonight, being honest with you. Skip, I feel for him tonight. You're bringing him in on a game like that where how can he really make an impact when some of the players around him, just energy-wise, haven't really got it? And I just wonder now whether Skippy gets opportunity over the World Cup break to really work on his fitness.
He's an interesting one for me, Skippy's, because he was brilliant. Everybody was waxing lyrical about him last season before his injury, as was Conte, all the staff, everyone on this show, all the comments, everyone. And again, let's have it right. He was woeful. Like, what did he actually do tonight? Like the same as everyone else, wasn't good enough.
No,
like, he hasn't. I think someone's
they're killing you off, mate. Yeah, they're killing you off.
I'm muting.
Yeah, I think Jason is coming back. We're just going to get him back through. Get him back through the makeup room. Give us a couple of minutes. We're working on that. We really, really are. On Yves Bissouma tonight, I tell you, that was a worrying display from Yves Bissouma because he doesn't look like the player that we signed or wanted to sign. So I'm hoping he'll come back stronger. Højbjerg tonight. Look, I mean, again, I'm not going to sing about Højbjerg. He's a player that has given his all to Tottenham over the course of the last 3-4 months. As a whole, look, simply not good enough. Kane barely touching that ball tonight, as we said, over the course of the 59 minutes he was on, and Perisic nowhere near good enough. I think it's about the subs tonight to finish off very quickly. Brian Hill buzzing around when he came on. I think my disappointment was that he didn't probably start the game. Would love to see him start. Jed Spence, probably, as I said, the brightest out of the subs that came on tonight. Got a terrific ovation from the Forest supporters, and deservedly so, for what he did there last season. I would love to see Spence start against Leeds. I really, really would. Do I think he will? Probably not. But again, it probably leaves a lot of questions to be unanswered. Bentancur just looks again knackered. Bless him. He came on after the break. And Richarlison, plenty of effort, had the ball in the net for offside. But I think for everybody's sanity, including mine, I think we are going to take our final break of the show for our listeners on audio, and taking you into that break for our listeners on audio. We've got the wonderful Ryan from LS11 who gives us his preview ahead of the game. And I can tell you, Leeds tonight, from what I understand, I think they made 11 changes. So they're coming fresh. And I might need to get confirmation. Did Leeds go through or out tonight, boys? Did anyone know if Leeds went out tonight? Went through?
Wolves beaten 1-0.
Okay. So again, I mean,
I always scored, but not that one.
Oh, different one. Right, okay.
It was Bert. It was Bert, not Dharma.
Right, let's discuss Leeds. I mean, look, it's an opportunity for Tottenham to end this Premier League on a high. Now, I know it doesn't feel like a high, right? What's that?
Going into the World Cup.
Yeah, we could be third going into the World Cup. This is probably where I've got to retain a sense of realism about the season as a whole now. If I said to you, Lee, that Spurs would enter that World Cup break, in your own words here, obviously being top of that Champions League group, finishing potentially third, fourth in the Premier League, you'd probably take that going in there, coupled with a Carabao Cup exit. Would you have taken all that?
I think the gap to look, I want to put some context around what I'm about to say, right? If that was Liverpool at the top of the league and not Arsenal, most Spurs fans, including ourselves, would not be losing the shit that we're losing. It's because Arsenal are at top, and if they got a game in hand, they got 11 points clear of us. That is a massive gap. They should be getting the gaps out, right? But what I would say is, in the last 7 seasons, we finished above them, and I'm still confident that we're going to finish above them this season, even with that gap. But if that was Liverpool there and not Arsenal, and Arsenal and where Liverpool are, most Spurs fans would be happy with the fact that we're going into the international break in the top 4, maybe even into the top 3. But it's the gap that I'm worried about, that points gap. I think we needed to be in and around 5 points, 4 or 5 points off the leaders going into that break, and I would have been snapping your hand off for that. But you can't moan about being in the top. Christ, we were 7th and 8th, man. Like, only a year. We had Nuno a year and a week ago. We had Nuno in charge of our football club, and we were 9th. So, yeah, I mean, I would take that. I don't want to be out of the cup, though. I'm with you on that, Rick. I want to rest tonight.
Like I've said, I mean, I don't. Can I just say something? I know, again, we record this live 15, 25 minutes after the show goes live. I can tell you that I know for a fact I'm not going to regret anything I've said tonight, tomorrow morning, because I know how I feel about this club. I don't hold back. And again, anyone that listens to that makes me feel I've gone strong tonight. I don't think I have. I think I've been as honest as I possibly can ever be on Last Word on Spurs. And if anybody ever says that I sugarcoat or sit back, I hope tonight that kind of gives you a viewpoint that I will say when things need to be called out, and I will call them out. Because I think Jason years ago told me, don't be a fence sitter. Do you remember you said that to me? Don't be a fence sitter? Do you remember you said that to me, Jason? Don't sit on the fence. I don't think I could be more off the fence. I feel like someone could push me off, do me a favour, throw me off the fence, honestly. Rix, has come over to you. Spurs, they go into this game on the back of, obviously, back-to-back home defeats. Just how important is it now that we do see a reaction, given the fact that we don't return to action until Boxing Day, which I can tell you my wife is absolutely delighted about. She is honestly buzzing. That
You'd have bought a new car by then. Come on.
Oh yeah, one of those battery ones, or one of those ones
the pushes.
Yeah, the pushes. Wagon wheels, mate. Wagon wheels, maybe, Jace.
God's sake, don't buy her a Hoover, please.
Oh, don't honestly, yeah. Rick's honestly though, for you, how important is this game? We have to go in surely going into for a win. And Leeds, to be fair, I mean, Leeds have shown some real form under Jesse Marsh recently. He was obviously being heavily criticised by supporters. Arguably, there was arguments to say that a lot of the fans wanted him out of the job, but he's had some really good results recently, arguably against maybe some lesser inferior opposition. He's gone down a couple of times, 2-0 down and come back. Who does that sound like? What do you think, Rick? What does this game hold in store for Tottenham?
Well, Leeds are a never say die type of team, isn't they? Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter how far behind they are, they're gonna keep going, and they do kind of have some pride about wearing their shirt, and they're trying to do the best for Marsh and the badge right there. It's going to be a tough game, but it is really important to kind of finish the season with a win, with as many points as we can. When we started the pods way back when, and I've said it repeatedly, every single point before this World Cup break, because this season is the most unique season we're ever going to experience as fans. The fact that it breaks right here and it starts so quickly again after the World Cup. So every point that we got up until till this break was vitally important, because we don't know what's going to happen next year, right? And we don't know what the team's going to be like next year. So going in, especially after the last couple of results, especially after the last couple of tired performances, especially after all of the dross that we've had to endure over the last couple of weeks, it is really imperative that they have this last push mentality, that they're like, all right, and cool. Some of us are on the plane to go World Cup. Some of us are having a rest after this. Let's just do this last push, this one last time. Let's go out there. Let's give the fans a proper performance, and let's get these 3 points in the bag and then jump on the plane. So there really needs to be, if they continue to talk about the mentality and the mentality shift and the mentality that Conte has brought to the side, a winning mentality. So in the lowest of lows, you've got to show that mentality at that point there. It's all right saying that you've got it when you win, but it's at times like this when you really show it. So it's time to step up, it's time to step on, and it's time to show us what they're all about and put in a bloody good performance. And it's going to be a hellraiser. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be a bit like a basketball game, because, again, we're going against a side that likes to attack and likes to counter-attack. So as long as we match them for, passion, energy, pace, desire, determination, we should go out there and show them what we're about and get those 3 points.
Jay, to come over to you, Conte has called on the supporters to inevitably support the team on Saturday against Leeds. What do you think that game holds in store for us? It's a Leeds side that have been rejuvenated over the last couple of weeks under Jesse Marsh. Can you see Spurs giving a positive reaction, given the last 2 home games have been back-to-back defeats there? What do you see is in store for Saturday? And I know you're honest as always, so what do you see holds in store for us that game?
Well, I think they'll want to, but Leeds have come in having, the last couple of games, they've been straight on the front foot. They went to Anfield, showed no respect for Anfield whatsoever. Went straight, were a goal up, okay, through a Liverpool mistake, but they were pressing up the field in the 3rd minute to create a mistake. They kept going in that game right to, they scored, in the 94th minute? They scored late, winner against Bournemouth. So they're coming full of confidence. What worries me is that those 2 performances have been full of energy, and you've just said they've rested all 11 tonight. We look as flat as anything. They're coming with real confidence. We're playing with no confidence. They're coming with pace in their team. We've got no pace in the team. So, as much as we might want to put on a performance, I think Leeds will have a big say in the game, that's for sure. I think the crowd will play their part for 15 minutes, but if we're sitting back and Leeds create 2 or 3 openings early on, and we're looking as flat and dead as we have been for most games, that crowd will turn. We know it. That Tottenham can be an incredibly toxic place when that crowd turns, and you'll get the booing, and then it's about players. Are you brave enough to play when you're being booed? So I think it will be an incredibly difficult game. I think if we get across the line, it's going to be a really ugly win. I don't think there's going to be too much style and too much of stuff that's pleasing to the eye, but it's going to have to be a really gutsy performance, and we're going to have to almost, I think whenever a team is on a bad run and they're playing with no confidence, it's you need an ugly win to get out of it. And again, we don't know what that side will be. My worry with the side will be that we are so close to a World Cup that, and like I say, people can talk about it being that. I just think,
I know.
Well, Rick,
sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing it.
Well, Rick,
Tottenham Hotspur, pay your wages. I am sick to death of hearing about this bloody sodding World Cup. Newsflash. I don't give a crap. I do not give a crap. You are paid by Tottenham Hotspur. You are playing for Tottenham Hotspur. Go and play. I'm sick of it.
But you're not on the pitch, are you?
I know. I'm
the
not.
Facts of the matter
I'm only a fan. I'm irrelevant. I'm only a fan. I'm a irrelevant.
Not being funny, Ricky. When Richarlison was picked for us to play against Fulham, do you think he was running around his room, or did you see him running around the room when he was picked for Brazil to go to a World Cup?
No. I hear you.
So you might be running around your room, but Richarlison has just come back from 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks out. He's going to a World Cup to be Brazil's number 9. He won't give us 2 flying fucks for Tottenham against Leeds.
This is what I mean.
That's the sad reality of it.
I'm sick of this attitude. Fergie back in the day, he'd be pulling these players. He wouldn't be
pulling them out of a World Cup, Rick.
No, but he'd be telling them that you've got to do your absolute best. Listen.
Of course you do.
It is a very unique situation that we've got a World Cup at this time. I take that into account. I understand that. Harry Kane, I championed him tonight. Listen, he didn't play well. He barely touched the ball for 59 minutes, but he did play. Play awfully, but he did play. I just wondered, Lee, coming over to you, going into this game, and this, I promise you, the last question we do before we sum up, before I do end up losing it, and it is past midnight now, and I'm going to have to thank these wonderful boys that have been stubborn to me for the evening, because it hasn't been easy. I do know I've been difficult tonight, and a lot of it is just overfueled by passion because I care, and I love this club. And I don't want anything to overshadow what we've just watched. And I'll say it again, I do not apologise and I do not hold back for what I've said tonight. Because I mean every word. I know when I wake up tomorrow morning, listen back to this as I always do, listen back to the shows, I know I won't regret anything I've said because I've been honest. That's all you can do when you do these shows. Lee, how important is it that we've got a 5-week gap in between this to when we play again? How important is it that we end on a win? We simply have to, don't we? Could you imagine the unbearable nature?
Must-win game, absolutely must-win game. Conte talked about the Marseille game a couple of weeks ago being a final. This is a final. Treat it as a final. We've got one through. Don't treat it as the finals that we've always lost. Treat it as the finals that pretended to be in, like Marseille, and we got through it. But I totally agree with Ricks and Jace. And I watched the Leeds game. I know Jace has got a bit of affection with Leeds from back in the day. And you have to admire what they did at Anfield and what they've done. Jesse Marsh come out a couple of press conferences ago, and I really liked his press. He come out, he's a bit like you, Rick. He come out and he said, "I'm sick of losing." He said, "I'm sick of it. In my entire career, I've never lost this much, and I am sick to death." It was I'm paraphrasing, but it was. I thought it was really, really good. And since then, the team have responded to him. Somerville has been playing really, really well, got a lot of pace. They're just going to come with no fear. Rock up at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and know that Spurs are going to sit back on their 18-yard line and try and defend them off. Now, if we do that, we will go 1-0 down in the first quarter of an hour. It will 100% happen.
Yep.
So you've then got a scenario. Do we come out and start playing before half time? Because otherwise we might be 2-0 down, which is the same against United, same against Bournemouth. Well, United we got in the second half, sorry, but same against Bournemouth. Everything that's been happening recently, and I can't see that changing. So batten down the hatches, viewers and listeners, because that's probably what's going to happen. And ultimately, I'll be there in the stadium like I am for all the home games, like a lot of us are. And I'll be trying to get behind the team, but they're going to have to give us something back as well.
Spot on. It's a two-way thing, that isn't it, Lee? It's a two-way thing. That
they play like they did against the second half for the whole of the game against Leeds. We win the game. Yeah. If you press Leeds, if you get in there, if you score first and you go press them, we win the game. But if we sit back in the first 15, 20 minutes, soak up the pressure, we will go 1-0 down. I'm not saying that we lose, but we will go 1-0 down. Fact. So we have to change that. And not being funny, and I know a lot of the players, I know Harry, thanks very much again for watching tonight. I know a lot of the players watch this show.
I hope you bloody ain't watching.
Yeah.
Well, if I am, I'm banned.
Quick message. Just go and have a look at the video of Liverpool's second half and just do that for 90 minutes. And if you do that for 90 minutes, you'll win the football match and everyone will be entertained and we'll go away buzzing the fact that we're third in the Premier League if Newcastle drop points. And that'd be great for our 5-week break.
You know what's coming now?
I'm not going to lie, mate. I'm worried.
Yeah. You know what's coming now? This is the point where I say predictions and everybody predicts 5-0. I look at you like you're all crazy because we've just watched that for 94 minutes. Right. Lee, come on in, mate. Should we actually we'll do Lee at the end. Let's go around. Let's go around. Let's go to Chase first. Chase, come on.
Big game. 1-1. 1-1.
1-1.
1-1 or 2-2. Yeah. I'll certainly a draw, I think.
Can I just remind you, I've got to come back and do this live on Saturday night. Are you actually telling me I'm doing a 1-1 draw at Leeds United who are fighting relegation?
Am I on?
No, you might be doing a 4-0 win for Leeds United,
mate.
but I'm saying it'll be 1-1.
I'll tell you what, I might still be on it. I might be still on this.
If you stay on 20 minutes, we're starting Leeds in a second.
In fairness, Rick, you said to us in fairness, you said you cared more about tonight than you did about Leeds. So even if we lose 4-0, you'll be all right.
I care about tonight. Honestly, I still say it 2 hours on. I say the same thing 2 hours on. Tonight means so much. Tonight meant so much to me, and that is why I'm so animated. I don't want to go out of any cups, and I know you're the same, Jace. I know this mattered to you tonight as well. You cared, right?
I know.
Of
course I do.
Hurts. Always hurts.
And you know that's the big thing tonight. Even if you do look at it and think, well, the bigger picture is the next round was in 2 days after a final and there's top 4 to chase and that. Nobody is actually happy when you lose a game.
Look at the teams that have gone out tonight, Jace, as well. I know, again, there's Liverpool and City in there. That's a genuine chance to win a trophy. I'm not even, I don't even want to look at, I don't even want to look at the draw.
But we're talking about Leeds, not Forest now, so shut up.
Yeah, you're right. Sick of it. Rick's, Jace has gone for a 1-1. What are you going to go for, Rick's?
Firstly, Jace, you're the man. I bloody well missed you, bro.
I do love him, man. I do. Listen. Me and Jace, this relationship, I have done it for 5 years. I love him, but I'm
telling you, I missed that cheeky smile, those bloody well cheek. I'm telling you, I missed you. I missed you more. But bloody hell, Jace, I swear to goodness, you're one guy that will find the one thing, bro. You'll find the one thing and you just bring it back. You are the bloody well man. All right, predictions. Bloody hell, cracking me up. Predictions. Well, you know, I never back us to lose, and it doesn't matter how delusional you may think I am, or how much you think that we are going to lose. I never back us to lose. Words can't come out of my mouth. So we're going to win, and we're going to win 3-1. I think we're going to have a 3-1 win to finish this first half of the season. And go into this five week break. So we're going to finish on a high.
Can I just say, Rick, come on, you Spurs. Mate, you've been part of this for the last 4 or 5 years. It's only right I do this, mate. You're amazing. We love you being part of the shows. I know you're back on for the Champions League shows with us. I know you are going to be in Aladdin from the 9th of December to the 31st. Tickets are still available, Ricks, to buy it. Please, where can everybody come and watch you and forget about Spurs for 5 weeks?
Well, I'm going to.
I say forget about it. It's actually during. We're bloody back on when it's happening. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
We'll work it out.
Tell me it's in the Orkney Islands or somewhere like that, or the Shetlands, please.
It's in Torquay, bro. So it's close.
It's further enough away, though, isn't it? From it.
I hope we don't get Torquay in the cup.
In the FA Cup, Torquay.
That'll finish me. That really will. Rick's tickets still available to buy, right? Where can everybody buy tickets to come see you, bro?
You can find them at atgtickets.com. And like you said there, we're at the Princess Theatre, Torquay. We're there from the 9th to the 31st of December. I'm playing the Genie. We're going to have some festive fun. So if you're in that area, come down, make some noise. Wish you could have
rubbed the freaking mist tonight, Rick, to tell you and put me out of misery having to watch that.
I was going to say, Rick, can we get some wishes, mate? Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus. Can we get some wishes?
Yeah.
I ain't got the lamp yet. Give me a minute, boys. Give me a minute.
Honestly, Rick, thank you so much, bro. Never easy. Always a pleasure having you on Last Word on Spurs. This poor guy has suffered 4 back-to-back Chelsea defeats, and now he's going to Forest in the Cup. Someone give him something, please. Right, the one for Ricky Norwood. Ricks, Lee, mate, let's close it with you, mate. We need a rallying cry. We need something, and we need a positive prediction, if you can even do it, as Constantine has. Make a beep wish, please.
It will be positive, because I generally think, I do think we'll start like we have done the last whatever games it has been. I do think we'll go 1-0 down as well, to be fair. But I think we'll end up winning 2-1. I think it'll be quite a good performance again in the second half. And I think if we play like we've played in the majority of second halves, don't think Leeds will be able to live with us, honestly, in that.
That's exactly what happened last year.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah, no, it is. We scored regular on score, didn't we, from
Leeds
a free
dominated
kick.
The first half and we come back.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think it'd be very similar. I think the key thing for that, for me, is Kulusevski being back. I think he'll start. Absolutely, I think he'll start now, because I think he's had another 45 minutes or 40 minutes tonight. He got half an hour the other day, and I think he got an assist, didn't he? He played just quickly. He played a brilliant pass tonight. Just as soon as he come on again, very similar, cute pass. I think it was to Bentancur, and Bentancur ran across. Wow, he's such a class player. So I do think that there'll be a big push from that, and I think we'll win 2-1, mate. But look, the rallying cry. I know you're broken tonight, Rick. I think we're very disappointed. It's very hard. Yeah. Like a lot of the viewers and comments and the listeners' questions coming in, and people listening back on this tomorrow. It is difficult, but you can't sit here and dress it up as much. You can only see what your eyeballs are showing, right? At the end of the day, and the reality is we are absolutely woeful tonight, and we don't have to be, and we are. Yeah. The thing is, we're much better than that. And that's the bit most disappointing. I know we're playing badly, and I know there's a lot of people that want this player out and that player out, and I don't think any of us are different, but we all know deep down that we are better than the football that we've been playing, and we've shown that last season. So the positive, I'll leave it on, Rick, is that if we play the second half of the season like we've been playing the second half of matches, we'll probably win the Premier League.
I'm going to leave it on that. Yeah, I mean, let's leave it on that.
Leave it on that. Go and have a dream about that.
Honestly, can I just say, Jason's just woke up and realised that it wasn't a dream, mate. Yeah, we did really lose, Jason. It was bad. It was. Can I just say, tonight, a massive thank you to our wonderful watching audience. There's been over 12, 13, 1,400 of you that have all watched us live over the last 2 hours on the back of having to watch 2 hours of Tottenham. And for the thousands, for the thousands that have downloaded this and listened back to this, thank you for your support. I will unreservedly a little bit apologise if you have gone strong tonight. I feel that I've gone as fair as I have been tonight in my criticism of the players, the manager, the board in terms of backing Conte as well. And I honestly do believe this needs to be now a catalyst to never happen again. But I do know we will be doing this again in the future, because that is last one.
Cup third round to come, yeah.
Well, hopefully it's our sliding doors moment, like Liverpool had against us 4-1. Yeah. Look at what happened. Look, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Don't forget that one under Klopp. Their amazing superstar, elite manager was already in post, and and they were struggling still under him. And maybe this is a message to everybody, the club, to everyone from up. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep. You cannot keep charging the prices you're charging and doing this. Yeah. I've got people who got season tickets that don't go because of certain things. You just think, what's the point in that? Like, it takes. I know people like Vass, good friend of the show, the Dr. Tottenham podcast, comes from freaking like Birmingham. Bob Dwyer, he comes over on flights from Ireland. We've got people that are watching us now that come over from the US. Jason, the family and Thailand and stuff. Yeah. They're coming out. You can't keep doing this. All the South Korean fans that are coming over.
And I tell you, the one. Look, listen, the one. Can I say one thing? The one common thing tonight. You might not agree with anything that's been said. You might not agree with the manager. You might not agree with what we say on the players. But we've got one common denominator here. Hopefully, we all want to see Tottenham be successful. Exactly. We all want to see Tottenham win, and that's what I want to end it on tonight. The frustration from me tonight, and the anger and disappointment, because I want to see Spurs win trophies, be successful. That's what I'm supporting this club for. That's what I care about. That's why I love doing these shows. That's why I love doing wins late at night. This is why I don't like doing these kind of shows late at night. But doing it with these boys does make it all easier. Honestly, thank you so much for all your support, as always, from the wonderful Lee McQueen. Lee, thanks so much, mate. We're going to have you back on. We've got lots of pre-recorded Last Word on Spurs coming. Rix is back on for more Cup nights in store. Rix, I am going to apologise in advance, bro, if you see me like this again. Thank you so much,
Don't you worry.
Give it a diamond.
No worries at all. You make sure that when we have the final, I'm on for the final as well. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
What cup's that then?
And whichever one it is, the teacup, bro. You let me know. And also to everyone watching and listening right now, straight after this show, Jason's going to be presenting Last Word on Cricket. So stay tuned. it's gonna go from this show straight into Jason's solo
Click
show.
that red
He just
button.
speaks about it, and it'll be there in HD for you. All right.
Oh.
So always a pleasure and an honor being on, my friend. Win,
Bless
lose
you.
or draw, come on, you Spurs.
Ricks, thank you so much, mate. We're wishing you all the very best on, of course, Tour Panto. Please go and check Ricks out. Please go and obviously book him up. He's superb. We love him. The wonderful Ricky Norwood. And
That's
Jace, as much as you absolutely hate this show, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I just want to say to you, after your rant about the World Cup, totally unacceptable rant, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, World Cup semi-final, England v India. Get the beers on, watch a bit of pajama cricket and sit back and enjoy it and chill out, boy. Much to enjoy.
There you go.
Wait for Joss and the boys to smash India tomorrow.
Mate.
Can I just say,
Good
Constantine's words here. Therapy session over. Cheers, lads. Night, night. There's so many thousand comments I can read out. Guys, thank you so much for all your incredible support. We are back with you. I am back with you on Saturday night for instant reaction to Spurs against Leeds, where we're closing the show post-match reaction over the World Cup, and we're doing lots more coming your way on Last Word on Spurs if we can stomach it. From the wonderful Lee McQueen, from the brilliant Ricky J. Norwood, from Jason McGovern, for our listeners on audio, he's currently putting his cricket top in the background. Please, as always, keep safe, keep well, and as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.